Well, hello and welcome to the Movie Paradise Show. I'm your host, Nathanael Molnár. I'm joined with our co-host, Rob Giachinta.
What's going on, everybody?
It's great to have you. It's great to do the show.
Nice, warm summer day.
Yeah, it's really nice out today. And we're doing our show inside. Yeah. You know what? Maybe once the weather gets nice, maybe we could do some outdoor shows. That'd be fun.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. Sorry for starting the show a little bit late. Had some issues with the graphics, had to work through, but we're here. We're doing it now. Our audio levels look good. Everything seems to be going all right. So, Rob, we have a whole bunch of things that we're going to talk about today. I'm very excited.
Get it going.
We do have to get it going. So, let's get right into it, and let's start with Rob. Did you hear that a Knives Out sequel is coming? Rian Johnson said that he's actually developing a sequel to Knives Out, which is a movie that I, for one, really liked. It's in my top 10. I am very excited for a Knives Out sequel. Now, originally, if you had asked me, would you want to see a Knives Out sequel before seeing the movie, I probably would have said no. It's kind of just a smaller film. It seems like a good one-shot. Yeah. But after seeing the movie, there's so many different places that they could go with it. And it seems like, from everything that Rian Johnson has said, that it's going to be following Daniel Craig's character on another mystery. And not to give anything away from what happens in Knives Out, but I almost would want to have seen a sequel following Ana de Armas.
That's her name.
Yeah, her character. I almost would have wanted to see a sequel following her story and where that goes rather than another mystery. But I am very excited to see where they could go with this. I think it has a lot of potential. And if Rian Johnson's involved, then I'm excited for that. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
I would say Ana de Armas' story, for me at least, has been kind of covered. And, you know, I think it ended in a really good... I won't spoil it, but I think it ended in a good spot. But I like the idea of having Daniel Craig's character in more movies. It kind of reminds me of what they're doing with the Murder on the Orient Express. Yeah. I'd be interested to see the whole new cast they were able to get for this movie, kind of just as big as the last one, and stuff like that. And it makes sense why they would want a sequel. I mean, this movie, for an original movie that, you know, just was kind of built on just actors' names and stuff like that, and a good premise and word of mouth, it's made a lot of money, and I think this could be a franchise now. I think so.
Yeah, and I think we need some of these more original franchises. Like, we're seeing that with The Quiet Place. We need some of these...
John Wick.
Yeah, exactly. We need some more of these franchises, which are smaller in nature, smaller budget, but are high quality. And I think I know a lot of people kind of riff on the ideas of franchises and, you're going to have like 20 installments. But I think it's healthy for the film industry as a whole and the nature of franchises to have a bunch of these original films become franchises. And I think something like Knives Out lends itself for that.
If you think about it, most movies, as long as they're not like just like dramas or movies that are like biopics or stuff like that, most movies, if they're really well done and make a lot of money, they most always get sequels. Am I wrong? I don't know.
I think that was more true before. I feel like now there are a lot of one-shot movies that come out because you do have like MCU movies.
Look at Joker, like they said one shot movie makes all this money. Now there's all these rumors and rumblings. We might not get another one, but there has been a conversation started now.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would say though that already kind of started. It's not like it was Ben Affleck's The Way Back, which is just a complete one shot, and they're like, oh, let's do a sequel. It was Joker. I mean, as much as they said,
these smaller, like, dramatic movies, those I don't think get... But anything that has, like a character that we recognize or stuff like that, or some kind of, like, action-adventure kind of, like, movies, or even comedies now, too. If a comedy's successful, they always make another one, even though, like... Yeah. Comedies... I feel like comedies in nature are just meant to be kind of like a one-off kind of movie, but... Yeah. You know, sometimes we get good ones, like 22 Jump Street was good. Yeah, I wish we could get 23 Jump Street.
Yeah, hopefully not crossed with Men in Black. I don't want to see that.
That I don't need.
But anyways, so I think there's a lot of potential for Knives Out. I wouldn't be excited if Rian Johnson wasn't involved. Like, if they were bringing someone else on, because if Rian Johnson wants to do another one, then that's what I'm for. So question is, guys, what do you think? Are you excited by the prospect of a Knives Out sequel coming from Rian Johnson? Or do you kind of feel like, we had the first one, it was good, or maybe you didn't even like the first one, we don't really need another one? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. And now we move on to our second Did You Hear topic. Rob, I don't know if you heard.
Probably not.
Probably not. You don't ever really seem to hear anything on this show. But Christian Bale is in talks to be joining Thor: Love and Thunder. Now, I'm curious, Rob. What are your thoughts on this?
Christian Bale is a fantastic actor. Add him to anything, and I'm gonna get excited. The whole idea of Thor 4, I don't know how excited I am for it. I really like Taika Waititi outside of the MCU. Jojo Rabbit is one of my favorite movies of this year. I think he's very creative and a really good director. But I just did not like Thor Ragnarok, and and all these like bringing Jane Foster back, which I at least right now I really don't like. I couldn't stand that character in the other movies. I love Natalie Portman, but that character never worked for me, and I'm just skeptical on this movie for now. But I am excited about the casting of Christian Bale.
Yeah. I think we're very much in the minority in that we did not like Thor Ragnarok. But Taika Waititi, he did a fantastic job with Jojo Rabbit. And I'm interested in him doing another one. And I don't know, maybe it's not going to work for us because we didn't like Ragnarok. Who knows, maybe it will. But
it might.
The idea of someone of Christian Bale's caliber coming in and doing something in the MCU, I think it just shows Marvel has a track record of they go out and they get big talent.
Yeah.
And there's something about the MCU that attracts big talent like this. Like, to get an Anthony Hopkins or to get a Cate Blanchett.
He does anything.
Yeah. But you get these high Robert Redford, high caliber actors who are like, yeah, I'll go fuck around in a comic book movie.
Yeah. It speaks to how big this universe has become.
And I think it shows how much fun they have making these movies.
And the money they make.
Yeah, that's true. So I have no idea who Christian Bale will play.
Yeah.
I think, like, in the early days of the MCU, they were in the early stages enough of the comics where it was like, I kind of knew some of the comics so I could make guesses. They're so far beyond my knowledge of the comics at this point. It's like, I have no clue. Eternals, never heard of them. Guardians of the Galaxy, never heard of them.
I thought you had heard of the Guardians.
Not before they announced the movie.
Really? Oh, no. We're gonna have to bring like a Marvel super fan on the show to explain.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. Yeah, we're gonna have to
put out a casting call.
Yeah. Come sit on our couch.
So what do you know about Marvel?
Yeah. But anyways, so I'm excited. I love Christian Bale as an actor. While I'm interested in a Thor 4, I'm a little bit reserved just because we didn't like Ragnarok. But who knows? Everything might change. Who knows? I'm excited for it. So question is, guys, what do you think? Are you excited by the prospect of Christian Bale being in Thor: Love and Thunder? Or do you think, I could do without Christian Bale? What do you think? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And now we move on to our third Did You Hear topic, and that is this. This is a pretty big one. This one just dropped the other day.
So I definitely didn't hear it.
You definitely didn't hear this one. I put together all the graphics for the entire show, ready to go, and as soon as I finished, this news dropped, and we have to talk about it. This is one I really want to talk about. So we just heard the other day that the director of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, the sequel to Doctor Strange, Scott Derrickson, who of course wrote and directed the first one, and he was going to be writing and directing this one, he has left the project. He said, according to him, he and Marvel both mutually agreed to part ways over creative differences, and he'll remain as an executive producer. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind. So he's leaving. The movie's still supposed to come out in 2021, and according to Marvel, it's supposed to start filming in May of this year, and they still have every intention in continuing to film on that. And this is interesting because I'm putting the whole Edgar Wright Ant-Man thing aside because that's, I feel like, a completely unrelated situation in that Edgar Wright had a plan for an Ant-Man movie before the MCU was what it is, and then when it came time to do Ant-Man, his vision didn't match what the MCU was, and they had to part ways. So I feel like that's its own isolated thing. Aside from that, we have not had, and aside from the whole James Gunn leaving Guardians 3 and then coming back, which was its also own isolated situation, we have not had a situation...
There was a woman that was supposed to direct Thor 2, and then they got rid of her, though.
Oh, yeah, that... All right, yeah.
People forget about that.
Yeah. So, okay. With maybe a couple of isolated incidences and exceptions, we have not really had this happen with an MCU. We're used to it happening all the time with DC.
Yeah.
Directors rotating doors or Star Wars. Yeah. We have not had this with the MCU. And so, to me, when I heard this news, it threw up more warning signs than I think it normally would have for anything else, because Marvel has been impeccable in getting the right filmmakers. And I think it would be even a little bit different if it was a new filmmaker they were bringing on for a new movie. This is a guy, Scott Derrickson. He's familiar with the Marvel process. Marvel's familiar with his process. They already collaborated very well on Doctor Strange 1. And the fact that this is happening this late in the process for Doctor Strange 2, I mean, he's probably been working on the script for maybe a year already, developing not just the script, but pre-production. Yeah, he's probably... So he
hasn't done anything since Doctor Strange.
Yeah, they were well into the process of making this movie. And so for this to happen now at this point sends up major red flags to me. And I don't know how the hell they are thinking that they can still shoot the movie in May. Maybe they already have I know you're saying they brought on a new writer.
Yeah.
Maybe they already have a director set and they just haven't announced it yet. That's very much a possibility. But even then, I feel like at that point, if they're rewriting the script, because for Scott Derrickson to leave over creative differences, he's writing and directing. They must be taking his script that he had written and drastically changing it. Either completely throwing it out or drastically changing it. And I don't understand how they can go through that much of an overhaul with the script and then have a new director come in to start exerting their creative direction all in a span of maybe 4 or 5 months before the movie is supposed to start shooting in May. This is not smelling right to me.
And
what are your thoughts?
I agree with you. I really feel like that there's something behind the scenes that we don't know about as fans, that this has been a long time coming and that they've been planning for this, and they have. I'm going to trust Marvel in just that they seem to be always on the ball, and I'm going to trust that they know what they're doing and everything's going to end up working out in the end. But I don't like it because I think he did a great job on the first Doctor Strange, and I really feel like ever since the first Doctor Strange, he's been working on this one. He hasn't done another film since the first Doctor Strange. And, like, we've been teased with Doctor Strange 2 for a while. Now we're finally getting it. And we got the announcement that we're getting Wanda in the movie, too. And, like, all this concept art and stuff like that. And, gets us excited. Now he's not going to be there. And that honestly lowers my excitement for the movie. Unless they can go out and get, like, a name that I'm going to trust as a fan.
Like a Mike Flanagan or a name of that caliber.
It also... While you bring that up, you're talking about horror directors. I'm also going to be disappointed if they get someone who's not from the horror background. Not to say that person can't do it, but it's just going to make me feel a little uneasy. Like if they go get, I know they wouldn't obviously get Peyton Reed because since he's doing Ant-Man, but if they got someone of that nature, I'd be like
Adam McKay.
Yeah, I'd be like, what's this? Like I really thought this, like when they said this is going to be Marvel's first horror movie, I thought I could trust them, but. Yeah. I don't know.
And it sounded like that's so I don't know if this is the nature of the creative differences, but we know that Scott Derrickson, when this movie was first announced, Multiverse of Madness, Scott Derrickson was saying this is Marvel's first horror movie. And then a little while later, Kevin Feige was like, well, it's not really a horror movie, blah, blah, blah. And we know, especially you brought up Wanda and WandaVision, we know they've said multiple times that the WandaVision show, which is airing on Disney Plus later this year, leads directly into Multiverse of Madness. So the question becomes, what is like the domino effect that all these production issues that they're having now with Doctor Strange, what can that have? Because if WandaVision's supposed to go directly into that, and then say they don't meet their May start date and they have to push it, it just becomes a whole mess.
I also find it interesting that WandaVision was supposed to come out next year and got pushed to this year.
Yeah. So they might be regretting that now.
Well, maybe again. That's I feel like they've been planning all this for a while now with everything. I don't know. And it's another thing. I hate that. I like that they're doing these shows, but I hate that now it's more stuff they have to worry about with the timelines and stuff like that. I don't know. I always just think they should just keep the film as its own thing, and the shows, should just be their own thing. Yeah. They do the same thing with Star Wars with the books and the shows. Like, keep your I like cinematic universes for the most part, but keep them. Yeah. Books are one thing, movies are one thing, and TV shows are one thing. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
I mostly agree with you. I'm curious to see how they do it.
Yeah.
And I'll kind of wait to make a final judgment based upon that, but I generally agree with you. Yeah, keep it separate. I think, just my final quick thoughts on this topic, I think the reason why this news is standing out to me the most, because like we've mentioned earlier, this has happened a ton with DC. This has happened a ton with Star Wars. But Uncharted. But Marvel has been such a well-oiled machine where they have a system, and they're this far in. They're phase 4. They've been doing this for 12 years now.
The only notable missteps are the Thor 2 director, the James Gunn whole situation, and remember, not Eternals, Inhumans was a movie, but then
and again, that was Ike Perlmutter kind of messing with that. That I don't think that I can't really blame Feige. So I think the reason why it stands out the most is that Marvel has been so consistent. Yeah. And has been such a well-oiled machine that once there is an issue, it's like, whoa, wait, there's an issue, and then how does that affect everything? So, I don't know. Hopefully it'll all work out. Hopefully the movies can be good. Hopefully Marvel can get on the right track. But at least from our position now, at this point in time, this is concerning news.
I agree.
So question is, what do you guys think? Are you concerned at all by the news that Scott Derrickson, the writer-director of the original Doctor Strange, has left Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness at this point in the game? Who do you think they could get to replace him? And do you think that this is going to affect the movie at all? Do you think we could be in for maybe a bit of a stinker with all these production issues? Who knows? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. And now we move on to another segment we do here on the Movie Paradise Show, and that is called Trailer Talk. Every week there's a few different trailers that drop, and we try to take one or two of them and talk about them here on the show. And the first one we're going to be talking about is for the long-awaited New Mutants movie.
Talk about issues.
Yeah, talk about production issues. New Mutants. So we had a trailer 2-3 years ago for New Mutants, and we finally got another one. They're saying now that it's actually coming out in theaters April 3rd, I
believe them, yeah.
I think at this point, I take them at their word at this point. So Rob, with this new trailer, first of all, what have been your thoughts about New Mutants before the trailer with all the issues, and then what did you think of this trailer?
It was a movie that I liked the director, and I liked the cast, and I liked the whole idea of it being almost like a horror movie, kind of like what we were just talking about. But all these issues kind of downgrade my excitement. But I have to say, if I'm just judging the trailer on its own measures, it got me excited to see the movie. Yeah. This movie could be, and very well will be, maybe, a dumpster fire. Mm-hmm. But the trailer got me on board, and I will go see this movie now. Because I thought there was enough good stuff in the trailer to where I could see the horror elements in it, and it wasn't, and at least by the trailer, it didn't look like that much of a mess. But who knows? Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel. So with the whole production issues, the way I feel is, if this movie was actually any good, it would have come out a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. I don't think Fox would have waited on, because it's a small enough budget, I don't, if it was actually if they had a good movie on their hands, I don't think it would have taken this long for it to come out. That being said, the trailer was really good. And we've seen countless times where terrible movies can have good trailers cut together to make it look good. And so, while I did really like this trailer, and it got me excited and interested in the movie, I can't help but feel that it's all much ado about nothing, because if the movie was any good, it would have come out in 2017.
The only thing I'll say is, with this whole Disney-Fox merger, I feel like a lot of movies have been kind of just thrown by the wayside and then just thrown out, even if they're good or not. Because, I haven't seen Underwater yet, but what I'm hearing is it's not that bad of a movie, and it was kind of just dumped in January, just for no marketing really at all, just kind of thrown there. And I feel like Disney's just trying to just get rid of all these Fox movies as fast as they can, even if they're good or not. I just feel like they don't want to put the effort into movies that are their own. Except the only one I'll give them, Ford versus Ferrari, they did a good job with.
It seems
but that was an excellent movie.
And Jojo Rabbit,
Well, that's search. Yeah, true.
Yeah, but I will say it seems like they are putting at least a little bit of effort into New Mutants because, like, if they really wanted to, if it was, this kind of contradicts what I was saying. If it was so bad, like absolute horrendous, embarrassingly bad, they could have either not released it at all, and Disney wouldn't have lost any money. Or just drop it on Hulu and not say anything about it. But they're actually spending money into marketing it, making trailers, and giving it a theatrical release. So to me, is at least a little bit of a sign of confidence. Now, I'm not expecting this is going to be Days of Future Past or Logan or anything like that.
It's also a good release date, too. It's not like it was in January. Yeah. It's April 3rd.
It seems like they're putting a little bit of effort into it. And so, I don't know. The trailer was really good.
Yeah.
Disney seems to be putting a little bit of effort into it. But at the same time, I feel like if it was a good movie, why didn't Fox? Because it's not like this movie got stuck in the whole merger right when it happened.
Yeah.
They had it before that ever happened.
This was supposed to come out before Dark Phoenix, correct?
Yeah. So I feel like if it was good, then why did Fox not release it when they had the opportunity to? So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe I have a feeling it'll kind of be like a Dark Phoenix situation
where it's fine.
Yeah, it's not great, but it's not the unmitigated disaster that we kind of all thought it would be. But who knows? We'll have to wait and see the movie. Mm-hmm. So, question is, guys, what do you think? What did you think of this last trailer for New Mutants? Does it get you any more excited for the film, or are you kind of still not that excited with all the production issues that's been having? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. And now we're going to move on here to our second trailer talk, and that is for Birds of Prey, which I'm going to let you take the lead on this one, because I know this is a movie you're really looking forward to.
Like you just said, I've been really looking forward to this one, and I think this trailer was even better than the first one. I think we get a lot more information on what the whole plot's going to be. We get to see even more of these characters in action, and I think it's just going to be... I think it's almost going to be what we wanted from the first Suicide Squad movie, but to a heightened degree, into more kind of chaotic kind of way. Like, I felt like Suicide Squad in certain parts of that movie, it played it safe. I think this movie is going to take risk, and I think it's going to be really good. And this trailer, I think, does a good job of showing that. Yeah. I wish it was Red Band, though. I want to see some of the R-rated aspects of it. But
they might be holding off and saving that for the movie.
Yeah.
Which would be cool. So I kind of, like, I've said many times that I haven't really been too on board with this film. As much as I hated Suicide Squad, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn was probably my favorite part of that.
Yeah.
And so I was always interested in the idea of her leading her own film. However, the first trailer that came out, I thought was just kind of whatever. It was fine. This trailer, I really liked. Now, granted, it doesn't change my opinion on the movie so much so that, like, I would put it in a top 10 most anticipated or anything like that. But I did think it was a better trailer. I agree, it kind of gave us a little bit more of a sense of the movie and the camaraderie and the action. I am encouraged with it being rated R, but I try not to put too much stock in a rating for a movie, because just because a movie's rated R doesn't mean they'll use it in the right way or it'll make the movie any better. Mm-hmm. So I am a little more encouraged that it is rated R, and it seems like between this and Suicide Squad and having seen Joker, and it seems like DC is going in a different track, which I am liking so far. But we'll have to kind of wait and see with this movie. So I really like the trailer, and it does get me more excited. But I'm still not... I wouldn't... If I had to say... like, clear cut, am I excited or not excited for Birds of Prey? I'm probably still leaning more towards not excited.
Come on.
I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
Come on.
I feel like, though, that...
Give it a go.
Like I said last time. Yeah. Like I said last time, when we were talking about Birds of Prey, which I think was when we were doing the top 20, or the top most anticipated 2020, They should have just called this Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey.
Oh, I agree with that. I
Yeah, because I feel like
the title's stupid.
I think, one, the title is completely stupid, and two, I really feel like all the other characters are going to be sidelined. I think it's going to be her.
Really?
I don't
know about that.
Or maybe a couple of them will be standouts, but I think for the most part, it'll be her, and then she'll have the people who are surrounding her who are helping her take out all the henchmen.
I don't know. I think, just from my opinion, I think they're all going to get their due. That's just me, though. We'll see.
I mean, I'm hoping. If you're going to call it Birds of Prey, I want it to be Birds of Prey.
Because they got pretty good actresses. Mary Elizabeth Winstead is really good.
Yeah, but how many movies have gotten great actors to play roles that have nothing to do with them?
That's true. John Bernthal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but anyways, so we'll see soon enough. The movie's coming out very soon. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they're saving the Red Band trailer for like right before the movie comes out, like the final week or so.
Yeah. And then if it really, I would just not watch it then because like I'm already on board.
Yeah. I might have to watch it to get me on board, but I'm gonna see it anyways. Yeah. So, question is, guys, what do you think? What did you think of that last trailer for Birds of Prey? Are you like Rob, where you're really looking forward to it and you think it might be a really good step in the right direction for DC? Are you more like me, where you're a little bit more reserved and you're kind of just waiting to see how it plays out? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. And now we move on here to another segment we do on the Movie Paradise Show, and that is Go or No Go. And how Go or No Go works is that we try to see new releases every week, and we come here and we tell you simply whether you should go see the movie, or no go as in you shouldn't waste your time and see the film. And the first one we're going to talk about is Bombshell, which this is one that I've been interested in for a while. We've been hearing, of course, it's about everything that happened at Fox News a couple of years ago with Roger Ailes and the whole sexual harassment lawsuit that was brought against him. I think we'll just say up front that this isn't going to be a political thing. We're just talking about the movie, and we're not going to insert... and for people who are watching or leaving comments...
Yeah, don't get in a political fight in the comments. Rich, I'm looking at you.
I think with a movie like this, there's it's easier for people to kind of let their political opinions about what is going on influence how they view the movie. So let's put that aside and just look at the actual film. I thought this was a very well-made movie. I think the performances were really good in it. I don't know if I'd necessarily nominate everybody for Oscars like it seems like they might be going, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later in the show. I will say Charlize Theron as Megyn Kelly, I thought she was fantastic because she was unrecognizable as Charlize Theron. Like she fit right in as Megyn Kelly. I'll say it. But I thought the performances were all really good. The movie does a really good job of building tension. There are certain scenes in this where I was literally knots in my stomach, edge of my seat, what is going to happen. And I thought John Lithgow was also really good in this. And he's not getting talked about enough. Yeah. I thought he was really good in the movie. And we have seen a few movies that this is similar to in the last few years.
There was a Roger Ailes TV show to watch with Russell Crowe.
Yeah. But I think what this movie does best is it does a great job in making you feel like there is nowhere to turn. And putting you in the mindset of the desperation of the people who are stuck in situations of employment where their bosses are highly powerful, prominent people, and they are the top of the food chain. And if they do something that's disgusting and vile towards you, violate you in some way, who do you turn to? There is nobody to turn to because they are the top. And if you do anything to try to circumvent that or go over them, your career is immediately ruined. And I think that was the best thing that this movie did, was put you in that mindset of the people who are stuck in these terrible situations and allowing you to kind of understand that process, and then seeing what ultimately comes out of that when there are a few brave individuals who decide, you know what, it's worth it if we have to take that stand. So what were your thoughts on the film? I'll give it a go. Oh. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
I'll give it a go.
With the performance of Megyn Kelly, Charlize Theron, I thought she was fine. I thought a lot of it just had to do with her makeup, which isn't her. It's the makeup department.
The makeup in this movie is fantastic.
I think they deserve the Oscar nomination over everybody else in this movie. I thought they were probably the best ones. I mean, obviously you don't see them but you see their work. I thought this movie was fine. I don't think I would ever want to watch it again. It really never really got me hooked onto the story that it was trying to show. There were certain instances, like a scene with Margot Robbie and John Lithgow, that you kind of like, it keeps you tense. But other than that, I don't know. I found like the tones were a lot all over the place. Sometimes I thought it was kind of trying to be like the fourth wall breaking stuff, and then they go away from that. And then there's some parts where like Kate McKinnon's character. Maybe it's just
I thought she was good in this movie.
I know you like her, but I can't get on board with her.
I haven't. So I'll say real quick.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I like her on SNL because I think her sensibilities when it comes to acting is more that sort of caricature, like performance.
Yeah.
And in movies, I feel like she's been trying to play SNL kind of characters, and in the movies that she's been in, that hasn't worked because she hasn't been movie characters. But in this film, I thought she played a real, authentic human being, and I really liked her in this. It's not a huge role, but I thought she did a good job.
She was definitely better than she has been, I will say. She was horrible in yesterday. I couldn't stand her in that. But, yeah, and I don't know. I will. When you said John Lithgow, that's I feel like he's going very unnoticed. He was, like, diabolical in this movie, but he gave a great performance.
He was great.
And I'd have to say, probably my favorite part of the movie was, I won't spoil it, because it's like, I mean, I know it's a true life story, but it is I like that final shot of Margot Robbie, or what she decides to do. I thought that was probably the most powerful part of the movie to me. But overall, I don't know, I just couldn't really get invested in it. I just don't understand the praise for these performances. I thought they were fine, but I could list tons and tons of other actors who gave better performances than these actresses, in my opinion. And I honestly think I'd give it a no-go.
A no-go? So you got a go and a no-go?
Yep.
Question is, guys...
If you want to see it, go see it. Yeah. That's all I always
So go.
say.
Listen to me and go. Question is, guys, what did you think? Have you had a chance to see Bombshell yet? If not, are you planning on going to see it? Leave your spoiler-free thoughts in the comments section below. Now we move on here to our second go or no-go, and that's for a movie that we just saw last night, which is 1917, which is getting a ton of critical praise. It seems like it's going to be up for a whole bunch of Oscars, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Rob, you saw the movie. Yeah. What'd you think?
I don't understand this huge praise. This is a good movie. Don't get me wrong. The stuff they were able to achieve in this movie is incredible. The acting is all really good, and there's some really great scenes. But overall, I just found the movie to be good. I didn't find it to be Best Picture worthy. I didn't find it to be like some like thing like, oh my god, this is the movie like of our lifetime or anything like that. And maybe that's just on me for buying into the hype, but it's hard not to as a fan of movies and stuff like that. But overall, I'd have to say this movie has really good parts, but then it also has parts where they're just kind of slow and like dull and I think they do a good job with the main character, but like you just only see his journey, and I don't know. Now thinking back, I don't know if I like the whole one-shot thing. It is impressive, but I don't know if it leads to a good movie. I don't know if I'd wanted to see it again in another movie.
Yeah.
But Sam Mendes has to get a lot of... I definitely think he deserves a Best Director not to be nominated. I don't think he necessarily deserves to win it, but just the way they were able to pull off some of the things they were able to pull off was incredible. I will give this a go, but I will say you should keep your expectations low, especially if you're thinking this is going to be like the next Saving Private Ryan or even a Dunkirk. Yeah. I don't think it's that. It's a good movie, but nothing phenomenal.
Yeah. I kind of agree, yeah. I've found it to be, considering the amount of buzz and praise it was getting, I was kind of underwhelmed. And I will say, like you were saying, the technical achievements that they were able, like the staging of everything to be able to pull off the one, or to make it look like one shot, is fantastic. The thing is that I feel like most of that fell on the actual production design, because you had to pull off these one shot to make it look like all one shot. You couldn't reuse sets, like when they're in the trenches. You couldn't just have one small set and keep reusing that. They had to build the entire thing. And so I think what was incredible about it was all the work that went into all the sets and the production design and the costumes and all the extras and then part of that falls on the direction to make sure everyone's hitting their marks and going where they're supposed to going and keeping the lighting consistent. All that is incredible. But then when you actually get into what's this movie about, it doesn't have as high a stakes as I thought. Now, the mission that he's going on does have high stakes. But the way they were setting up, and I'm not going to give any spoilers, but the way they were setting it up in the very beginning, it sounded like it was going to be like there's enemy fire the entire time. You've got to it's like a mad dash to get there in time. And I was like ready for a razor sharp, fast pace. And what ultimately happened was the pace was rather slow. There were scenes that had high tension, and there were scenes that had high stakes. But I thought the pace throughout was rather kind of, as you were saying, a little bit slow. And there were a lot of times where I was just kind of like checking out a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think, and I'm not going to go into it, but I've said many times I'm not a huge fan of Dunkirk. But I thought the technical achievements of the stuff that they pulled off in Dunkirk, because it was mostly practical, very little, if any, CGI, for all those huge, sweeping battles, I thought that was a bigger technical achievement than what they did in here, because while they had to stage everything to make it look like one shot, other than like maybe the very end, it wasn't like giant war scenes were going on that they were filming in one shot. It was mostly just characters walking through environments. Yeah. So I'll give it a go. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I'm kind of with you. Like, this isn't going to make a top 10 list for me. And I'd say if you're someone who's been listening to the hype, maybe you are going to go in and you're going to think it's one of the best of the year. But I'd say just keep your expectations in check a little bit. I always try to I always try to look at it as having anticipation rather than expectations. But just keep them in check a little bit, but I'm still going to give it a go. So question is, guys, what do you think? Have you had a chance yet to see 1917? If not, are you planning on going to see it? Leave your spoiler-free thoughts in the comment section below. And now we move on to the main topic here on our show, and that is the Oscar nominations will be coming out very shortly. We've had the SAG Awards. Monday morning. We've had the SAG nominations. We've had the DGA. We just had the Golden Globes, which mean nothing, but we just had them. We've had BAFTA. Monday morning, we are officially getting the Oscar nominations for this year, it's going to make it actual. It's going to make it real. And so what we wanted to do was we wanted to both kind of say what we think the Oscar nominations for the main categories will be. So we're only going to be looking at Best Lead Actor, Best Lead Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress, Best Director, and Best Picture. We could go more, but then that would be a longer show. Yeah. So we're going to start things off first, though, and we're going to be looking at Best Lead Actor. So for some of these, we actually had the same picks, but for this one, I think we
just have one difference.
We only have one difference, and so my picks, who I think are going to be nominated, I have Christian Bale for Ford v Ferrari. I actually have this backwards because
whatever.
I have this backwards. So my list is actually on the right, and Rob's is on the left. So I have Christian Bale for Ford v Ferrari, Leonardo DiCaprio for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Adam Driver for Marriage Story. I have Taron Egerton for Rocketman, and then Joaquin Phoenix for Joker.
And I have Christian Bale for Ford v Ferrari, Robert De Niro for The Irishman, Leonardo DiCaprio for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Adam Driver for Marriage Story, and Joaquin Phoenix for Joker. So the only ones that we have different are De Niro and Egerton.
Yeah.
And while if it was my list, I would put Egerton in there over De Niro. I just think that De Niro's just going to end up getting in there just because of name clout. But I would like to be wrong.
Yeah. I've been rooting for Egerton ever since Rocketman came out.
He was phenomenal.
He was fantastic. And I remember I said at the time when Rocketman came out, I said in my review that if 5 performances come out this year that were better than Taron Egerton's, meaning he didn't get a nomination, then this was going to be one hell of a year for Best Lead Actor performances. And there have been, like, Adam Driver is fantastic. Joaquin Phoenix is fantastic. And De Niro was really good in The Irishman. He wasn't my favorite performance in that film. I give that to Pacino, personally. And I think at this point, I was very... if Egerton hadn't gotten the SAG nomination, I wouldn't have put him in here.
Yeah.
But I think that was a very sure sign, especially since the people who vote for the SAGs are the same people who vote for the Oscars. That was a vote of confidence for me that he could get in. And I think at this point, De Niro's name has been absent from so many of the awards that I don't think he has as much of a shot getting in now at this point. But, I mean, if De Niro's in... I mean, good for De Niro, but I'm rooting. I think it will be Edgerton, and I'm personally rooting.
Another one that I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't in there would be Christian Bale for Ford versus Ferrari. Yeah. While he has been getting a lot of steam, I wouldn't be shocked if that one dropped off. The three locks, I think, are Leonardo DiCaprio, Adam Driver, and Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah. I think no way those three don't get in, at least in my opinion. Yeah.
So Monday morning we'll see. Who's correct on that? Maybe neither of us. Maybe it's Daniel Kaluuya or someone slips in that someone slips in that we're not expecting.
I mean, Adam Sandler maybe has a shot to get in. I think there's a couple of, but yeah, who knows?
All right. So those are our thoughts on Best Lead Actor. Moving on to Best Lead Actress, we have the same list. I know you have one who you're thinking maybe could go in, but our picks right now are Cynthia Erivo for Harriet, Scarlett Johansson for Marriage Story, Saoirse Ronan for Little Women, Charlize Theron for Bombshell, and Renee Zellweger for Judy. Yeah, I think, and you were saying...
The only one that I think maybe could slip in would be Awkwafina, since she just won the Golden Globes, which we know doesn't mean much, but it's some sort
There is overlap between the two awards.
And the Oscar voting doesn't come out till after the Golden Globes have come on, so maybe some voters see that, and I don't know, maybe that influences their vote. And did she get a SAG, Awkwafina?
Well, although I think the nomination vote happens before the Golden Globes airs.
No, it's after.
Oh, it's after?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it was this week it started.
Oh, okay.
They do it this week and then they reveal Monday.
Okay.
I believe. Oh, no, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Awkwafina is really the only one I could see really maybe slipping in here. I honestly haven't even seen Cynthia Erivo and Harriet.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she was great in that.
But it seemed... I like her a lot, actually.
Yeah.
She was fantastic in Bad Times at the El Royale.
She was the best performance in that movie, I think.
Well, Jeff Bridges, maybe. I don't know. But
and two of them.
Yeah. But she's going to be in The Outsider on HBO, too, which I'm really excited about. So I'd be happy for her if she got it, but... I don't know. I'd say that one's the only one that I'm like, that could be up in the air. The other four, I think, are probably in.
Yeah, definitely. So, agree with you there. And then for Best Supporting Actor, we have the same picks as well. So, we have Jamie Foxx for Just Mercy, Tom Hanks for A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Al Pacino for The Irishman, Joe Pesci for The Irishman, and Brad Pitt for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The only one who I think maybe has a chance of not getting in would be Jamie Foxx.
I still haven't even seen that movie yet.
Yeah,
so
me either.
Watch it.
But I don't know off the top of my head who would go in instead of him.
I've heard some name. I don't know the actor's name, but the father from Parasite.
Yeah,
I've heard.
I would
him.
love if he got
I wouldn't mind that at all.
Willem Dafoe for I don't think he will. I don't think he will. But if it was up to me. He was one of the top 5 best supporting actors. Another one I
haven't seen, but another one that I wouldn't be shocked if it's in there is Anthony Hopkins for Two Popes.
Yeah.
The only thing is, the reason I was trying to include some African American, I just feel like they've added so much diversity to the Oscar voting pool that I would be shocked if we didn't get some people of color in these acting awards. That's why I was kind of let me put in some ones that because if we get an all-white situation, I don't know.
Although,
it's gonna look bad on them.
I don't think of it as there are people of color in the Academy, therefore they will exclusively vote for people of color who are actors. I don't think it's like a 1-to-1 like that. But I do think that it's more that we'll see more representation throughout the actual nominees. So. But I think out of all these, Jamie Foxx got the SAG nomination. That doesn't necessarily mean he will get
Emily Blunt got 2 last year.
She won.
Oh, yeah.
And she won Best Supporting Actress or actually they have Best Supporting Female Actor she won that for Quiet Place, and she wasn't even nominated.
Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily mean, but who knows?
Yeah.
I think out of the 5 of those, Jamie Foxx is the one who I could see most.
Those other 4, I think, are all locks, and I think Brad Pitt's going to win.
Yeah. We'll see on that one.
I think he's going to win.
He was good, but
he was my favorite. This is like the one year where I think like Best Actor and Best Supporting Actor, like my favorite performances, I think are both going to win too, which is awesome.
I agree with you on Joaquin.
Yeah.
Joaquin. I hope Joaquin wins. And then Best Supporting Actress, we have a little bit of a difference here. Let me just make sure that this one's correct. I didn't mess up this one. So my picks are Laura Dern for Marriage Story, Scarlett Johansson for Jojo Rabbit, Nicole Kidman for Bombshell, Jennifer Lopez for Hustlers, and Margot Robbie for Bombshell. You have yours?
Mine are Laura Dern for Marriage Story, Scarlett Johansson for Jojo Rabbit, Jennifer Lopez for Hustlers, Florence Pugh for Little Women, and Margot Robbie for Bombshell.
Yeah, so the only difference we have is I put Nicole Kidman in and you put Florence Pugh in.
Correct.
And I really only put Nicole Kidman in is because I've been hearing more from the other awards and everything, and she got a SAG nomination. I haven't really been hearing Florence Pugh's name as much for Best Supporting Actress, so I just kind of went Nicole Kidman. That way.
I would say that. Well, for this one, I think there's 2 spots up for grabs. I think there's 3 guaranteed in Margot Robbie, Jennifer Lopez, and Laura Dern. But we both picked Scarlett Johansson, but I really would not be shocked if she didn't get it.
I hope she does.
I really hope she does.
She gave 2 of her best performances.
If Marriage Story had not came out this year, I think she'd be not a lock for a nomination. But I think that's what might be stemming people from being like, oh, am I going to vote for her twice? But I really think she deserves it.
Yeah.
Some other people that could get in is the grandmother from The Farewell. I don't know her name. I'm trying to think. There were some other ones. But yeah, that mom might sneak in there. Do you have any? Do you think could sneak in there or no?
Not off the top of my head. But, so, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if it is Florence Pugh.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Little Women yet.
And I wouldn't be shocked if it was Nicole Kidman.
Yeah. So it honestly can go either way.
Yeah.
So we'll wait and see on that. And then we have Best Director. This is an interesting one. So I had Bong Joon-ho for Parasite, Sam Mendes for 1917, Martin Scorsese for The Irishman, Quentin Tarantino for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and then Taika Waititi for Jojo Rabbit. And you had...
And I had Greta Gerwig for Little Women, Bong Joon-ho for Parasite, Sam Mendes for 1917, Martin Scorsese for The Irishman, and Quentin Tarantino for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I feel like those 4, the Bong Joon-ho, Sam Mendes, Martin Scorsese, and Quentin Tarantino, those are all locks, I think
so, too.
It's that last spot that things get interesting.
And I think there's like 4 or 5 people who could get in there.
Todd Phillips.
Noah Baumbach.
Yes, a lot of them. And Greta Gerwig. And
Taika.
And I wouldn't be shocked if it's Taika Waititi. The only reason I said Greta Gerwig is just to put some diversity in the Best Picture spot. That's the only I think she did a really good job. I would honestly say Todd Phillips and Taika Waititi did a better job, though. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah. So, I mean, I said Taika. I literally could have put Noah in there. I could have put Todd in there. I could have put Greta. Literally, they're all kind of on the same level for me. So we'll have to wait and see. But I completely agree with you. The 4 spots are pretty much
locked. Who's gonna win though? I'd say Sam Mendes is sort of the front runner, but I wouldn't be shocked if it was Quentin Tarantino. I'm being honest.
You know what? I think a dark horse in this is Bong Joon-ho.
I do. Yeah, too. I can agree with that.
Here's the thing.
Or maybe even Mark. I think they all have a great shot at winning it, all those 4. The 5th spot, I think, is going to have a hard time at winning it. But
yeah. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I said Taika, but that's not a sure bet for me at all. I think we both agree. 4 spots are locked, and then it's that 5th
with
one.
The DGA, I know we got nominated for the DGA, but Ben Affleck won.
Yeah.
And he didn't even get nominated.
Yeah, so while some of these, like the SGA, the DGA, and the WGA, all these are, and Quentin Tarantino didn't even get nominated for WGA, even though he's not a Writers Guild member. So all of these, they're good references to look at, but they're not sure things of, just copy and paste the nominees for each of these, and then you get the Oscars.
There's definitely, I'd say about 75% turnover, but then there's a couple that always sprinkle in that are different.
Yeah. So it's going to be an interesting one. Yep. And the final one that we have is the big one, Best Picture. So I have for Best Picture, and I think this is where we have a couple of differences.
Yep.
For me, for Best Picture, I had 1917, The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Knives Out, Little Women, Marriage Story, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite.
And I had 1917, The Farewell, The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, Marriage Story, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite.
So I guess then the only difference we have is you had Farewell and I had Knives Out.
Yeah. And I think you might be right about that. But also, who knows? It could just be 8. So we could both just be wrong, and it was the other 8. Or
we chose
another
9.
one. Ford versus Ferrari, I think, could sneak in there. I think that has a shot. Mm-hmm. But I'd say 1917, Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Marriage Story, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite are all locks. And then I'd say I'm not 100% like on board with Little Women, but I would put it in there if we were doing 9. But I wouldn't be 100% shocked if it didn't get in there.
Yeah. And
same with Knives Out, but I think Knives Out's been building some serious steam.
Yeah, I think Knives Out has at this point a better shot than The Farewell, just because I feel like more people are talking about it.
You might be right.
The Farewell kind of came out a little while ago.
I haven't even seen it.
Yeah. So. Oh, you never saw it?
No, I still.
It was a very good movie.
I want to watch it. Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, like you said, could be 8. So maybe this is all Much Ado About Nothing.
It could be anywhere between 6 and 10. Well, I think technically not really 10.
Yeah, it's usually either 7, 8, or 9.
Yeah.
So, but I think a lot of these are pretty much locked.
They should just make it a straight 10, and that's it.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like the sliding scale. Just make it 10, and that's it. Good to go. Yeah. But anyways,
or put it back to 5. I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't be.
I kind of like there being more for Best Picture.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like you're able to recognize more with it. Mm-hmm. And I kind of like the idea of Knives Out. Like, Knives Out might get a screenplay nomination or something like that.
I think it will.
Yeah.
I think it will.
But I like the idea that there are a couple of movies where they might not be big contenders for any of the other awards, but they're still recognized as being one of the best of the year and getting a Best Picture
kind of like Jojo Rabbit. Like, that could very well just end up with Best Picture and, like, Best Script. It might not end up with the other ones.
Yeah. So anyways, those are our picks. So those are our predictions for the 2020 Oscar nominations, like we said, are going to be announced Monday morning. So I'm sure next week we'll be talking.
We could talk about the nominees.
Yeah, we'll probably. You might not hear until we do it on the show, but we'll probably be talking about what the nominees actually are. So it's going to be a very interesting one. I'm very excited. I'm not going to be shocked if there are a couple of ones that we're not expecting at all. Yeah. Maybe not in these categories, but maybe in some other categories.
And to win it, I'd say the actors, in my opinion, are all kind of locked. I kind of have a sense of who's going to win those. Director and Best Picture, I think, are up for grabs, and I really don't know what to predict to win.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting... I love the Oscar season.
I do too. It's fun.
I love seeing all the movies, and I love the lead-up. I love the predictions.
I know. I don't think I've ever actually, well, at least in the last couple of years, I don't think I've ever actually watched every single Best Picture movie. But this year could be different because at least all the ones I've nominated, the only one I didn't see was The Farewell, and that one could be out of there.
Yeah,
and I've seen the
only one I haven't seen at this point was Little Women, which I'll try to check out like in the next few days.
Nice,
because I really want to see that.
Yeah, because last year I never watched Roma, and then when it didn't win, I was like, I don't want to watch.
Roma was good. It was good. So, question is, guys, what do you think? What do you think will be the nominees for the 2020 Oscars? Do you agree with Rob? Do you agree with me? Do you agree with both of us? Do you agree with neither of us? What do you think it could be? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And we're going to look on over to the... we don't have any questions. So, question for you real quick, Rob. So...
What is it?
So it's 2:12 right now.
Yep.
I realized halfway through the Christian Bale story that I wasn't recording. So, but then we've been recording the rest of this. So the ones that we don't have recorded are the Knives Out and
are you being serious?
Yeah, no, I'm being completely serious. Since we ended early. Would you care at all if we went back and redid those?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I'll be able to say exactly what I said.
Oh, no, it doesn't have to be exactly, but we'll just talk about it again.
Yeah.
It'll just be those two stories.
All
right. And no one's watching. Who gives a shit? All right.
Great.
And we move on here to our first Did You Hear topic. Rob, did you hear that a Knives Out sequel is coming out? Apparently, Rian Johnson is working on a sequel to Knives Out that will follow the Daniel Craig character from that film. So, I really like Knives Out, and I don't want to give any spoilers for the film. I really like Knives Out. It'll probably be one of my top favorite movies of the year. Might even be in my top 5 when things are all said and done. I really like that movie. I thought it was just great script, great direction, great performances across the board, and I was just kind of on the edge of my seat the entire time. I like the idea of them doing a sequel that kind of follows the Daniel Craig character and doing a new mystery. I do almost wonder if, and I keep forgetting her name,
Ana de Armas.
Ana de Armas. I always forget her first name. I almost kind of would have rather have seen a sequel following her because, again, not to give any spoilers, I think where she leaves off at the end of that film, I kind of want to see what happens to her character next in her life and everything like that. But I do like the idea of them going forward, and I do think that there is a place for original franchises because we have so many franchises, like we have Star Wars, we have Marvel, we have all these things that are so, granted, Star Wars was originally an original franchise, but we have so many franchises now that are just based upon things or nostalgia, redoing things. And it's cool to have, like A Quiet Place, like John Wick. It's cool to have these original franchises, and I think there's a place for them in Hollywood. And I think they're kind of important for keeping movies fresh and the franchise system fresh. And so, while it's not necessarily the story direction I would have preferred if you were to give me the option, if this is what Rian Johnson wants to do, I love the Daniel Craig character. I'm all for a Knives Out sequel. What do you think?
I'd say I'd be on board with it. I kind of think Ana de Armas' character ended off on a good place, and I don't necessarily need to see her again. But I would like to see Daniel Craig's character return and kind of do what they're doing with the Murder on the Orient Express series, where they just have a brand new cast with all these great actors, and we can create a brand new story, and Daniel Craig will investigate.
Yeah.
So, and it totally makes sense why they're making a sequel because of all the money that they made in this one. So.
Yeah, they did really well for themselves. I saw Rian Johnson on Twitter. Someone had mentioned this to him, and then he said he's like, not gonna lie, I've kind of been thinking about this. The idea of having Daniel Craig doing a new accent each movie. And so he has his accent in this one, but do a completely different accent with no explanation in the next movie, which honestly, I kind of want to see that. But honestly, I just, at this point, whatever Rian Johnson wants to do, and when we were talking about the Star Wars trilogy he was going to do, I said the exact same thing. I want, whatever Rian Johnson wants to do, I want to see him do. And at that point, like I had said, I'm not exactly interested in a whole trilogy of Star Wars movies by him, but he's a good enough director who I like that if that's what he wants to do and that's what he's passionate about, then that's what I want to see from him.
I don't think we're ever seeing it, though.
No, I don't think so either. Yeah. But I think if this is what he's excited about and this is what he wants to do and he wants to do another Knives Out, I'm all for it.
Nice.
So question is, guys, what do you think? Do you like the idea of them doing a Knives Out sequel, or do you kind of think, yeah, the first one was good, or maybe you didn't even like the first one, but I feel like they can kind of let it be with that. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And now we're going to move on to our second Did You Hear topic. Did you hear? I don't know if you heard.
Nathanael, I don't hear anything.
No, you live in a bubble.
I'm deaf.
Did you hear that? Did you hear Christian Bale has joined Thor, Love and Thunder? I'm curious, what do you think of this?
Yeah. I love Christian Bale. I think he's a really good actor. He was great in Ford vs. Ferrari this year, and I'm excited to see him join the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But as in Thor 4, I'm not as that excited because I didn't like Thor 3, but I do love Taika Waititi, so I got a mixed bag of emotions on this one. But overall, I'd have to say this is a good move for Thor, and it definitely gets me more intrigued to see it because I wasn't as intrigued to see it before.
Yeah. I agree. We were both in the minority and we didn't really like Thor Ragnarok. But Taika Waititi, like what he did with Jojo Rabbit was
phenomenal.
Yeah, fantastic. And so while I'm interested in a Thor 4 by, that's kind of hard to say, Thor Love and Thunder. I'm interested.
Stupid name too.
I kind of like it.
Oh.
I mean, with Taika doing it, that kind of fits his thing. But the idea of him doing a Thor: Love and Thunder, I think I'm interested in it. I'm more reserved than I would be since I didn't care for Thor Ragnarok. Personally, it's my least favorite MCU movie they've done.
Really?
Yeah, it's bottom of the barrel for me.
What about Dark World?
That's a little higher.
It
goes
sucks.
Thor Ragnarok, then First Avenger, and then and I don't know the rest of it off the top of my head.
Dark World is so boring. I'd rather watch Ragnarok anytime over that one. I'm sorry.
But so I'm interested in him doing it, even though I wasn't as big of a fan of Thor Ragnarok. But Jojo Rabbit showed, because when I went into Jojo Rabbit, I was a little bit nervous. Is it just that Taika Waititi's sense of humor doesn't work for me? But in that movie, I thought that was fantastic. It was a great, well-made movie, and it was also really funny. Mm-hmm. And so I'm at least interested in seeing what he does with another one, because maybe that one works for us.
Yeah.
And the idea of Christian Bale coming in, he's a phenomenal actor. One of the best in the business right now. I have no idea who he's going to play.
No.
In the very beginning of the MCU.
Maybe a villain or...
Yeah. Hopefully. I would love to see him as the villain. In the early days of the MCU, they were drawing from the parts of the comics that I knew, but they're so far beyond that now. I have literally no idea where they're going with anything now. So it's just no clue who Christian Bale is going to be, but whoever it is, I'm excited and I want to see it. And I just like the idea of someone of Christian Bale's caliber coming in and doing this, because the MCU does attract a lot of big name talent.
Yep.
So, question is, guys, what do you think? Are you excited by the prospect of Christian Bale joining Thor: Love and Thunder? Or are you not that excited about it? Are you not even really looking forward to Thor: Love and Thunder? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. And I think that's going to do it for us. Let's take a look. Yeah, we don't have any comments. So,
Rich is like, what just went on?
all right, and that's going to do it for this installment of the Movie Paradise Show. Thank you all for bearing with us as we did that. We probably could have done that without streaming, but whatever.
Whatever.
We did it anyways.
Run it live.
We're live, folks. We are live. So thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe for more content. Be sure to follow us on all of our various social medias at Movie Paradise 99. We have a whole bunch of new shows going on a weekly basis here. I wish I had the graphic queued up, but I didn't bring it up. We have now a new weekly show schedule, so keep your eyes out for 2 podcasts in addition to our live show drop every week. On Mondays, we have Film Thoughts go up, which is a little more of a laid-back, casual podcast where I just kind of talk about some of my thoughts on different topics within the world of film or television or
Don't you
different
do that
media.
whole show from the tub?
Yeah, straight from the tub. That's what it should be called.
Yeah,
Film Thoughts, straight from the tub. On Wednesdays, Movie Night Tonight drops, which is a in-depth movie discussion podcast we do. Every week's a new film, every month is a new theme, so you can check that out on Wednesdays. And then Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Movie Paradise Show goes live. So that's our show schedule going forward. Be sure to check all those out. And also be sure to check out our Patreon account, which is in the link to this stream. If you are... if you like our content and you're interested in supporting us, you can go check out our tiers on Patreon, and maybe you would want to contribute to the show and help us be able to expand and keep going forward. So